JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 2nd of August. There we go, 2022. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation. It should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which you can check out, and I believe you can find some useful information here. So yeah, jumping into the charts, guys. Oh, and by the way, before jumping into the charts, I can see you guys in the chat room there. Uwe, Marcus, yep, everybody, good morning. Good morning to you too. Good morning to everybody else who's joining in as well. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Tuesday. So yeah, let's jump into the charts now. Nikkei 225. So yesterday we did had a nice push higher. Okay, so that was fine, but as you can see here, it didn't really clear up this barrier, this 28,000 mark. Today instead we saw a bit of a decline, but yep, mainly kind of the decline is coming here from the US. There was a bit of weakness coming in, so yeah, basically yesterday the US market initially pushed nicely to the upside, but then failed to kind of stay with its gains, and yep, it declined, and basically we saw the indices closing slightly, not much, but just slightly in the negative territory. And here we can see Nikkei drifted lower, and well, what is interesting here is that this level here is somehow doing its job. This 27,524 territory, it's doing a good job. It's providing support. And now the question here is, can we see a rebound from it? Well, I would say at this point, probably the safer option is, of course, to monitor this barrier, the 28,015 one. So if we clear that one, then yes, we could go higher, and we could go like further north. But of course, this further north could be limited near this 28,339 level right here, or as I said before to you, not exactly the level, but the area around it. So, for example, here, I mean, although I marked this level, still, for example, back here in June, we overshot this, but in general, this whole area around that level did provide that resistance. So, in other words, that's what we could be aiming for. At this point, I will just keep it here. Even if it drops, let's say, below this 27,524 territory, there is still hope for the bulls to step in somewhere near this 200-day EMA. However, if it starts falling below it, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more sellers, and but only up until this upside line taken from the low of the 20th of June, guys. Now, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index, so it continues to drift lower. To be honest, not much to talk about here, and yes, it is drifting nicely to the downside. As I said before, that look, as long as it stays below this 20,216 territory, we'll continue aiming lower. We'll aim for this lowest point of May near the 19,179 territory, and then we'll just take it from there. So for now, just the same kind of, same game plan remains valid. We broke this key support zone. It seemed that we formed a descending triangle pattern here. kinda, or in general, I would say the EMAs kind of are doing the job and providing resistance. And yes, we're now seeing a nice good drift lower. So yeah, long story short, for now, I'm still aiming lower, and yep, for now I'm gonna stick to that rule. Okay, so now then, the ASX 200, the Australian index, guys. So what's interesting here that we managed to clear this barrier. Let me just probably mark this for our future reference. It will be easier. So we managed to clear this this barrier. Okay, that's great. And we managed to stay above it as well because we saw a bit of a decline here, a bit of a correction, and yes, this area, this hurdle, did act as a nice area of support. So, and not to mention this upside line as well. So everything's kind of in line. Everything's still in line with the idea where I said that, look, as long as we stay above this whole area, I'm going to aim for this 200-day EMA. And for this 200-day EMA only, because I want to see what's going to happen next. I mean, will we get some sort of a hold up here or not? But yeah, for now that's the game plan. So I'm aiming for this right now. In terms of the downside, I would like to see a drop below the 6,920 territory, somewhere below this area, and then we could go lower towards the 21-day EMA initially. Not gonna mention any of the levels yet, but yep, there could be an interesting one later on. So, but again, so far, like I said, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside. So as long as we stay above this area right here, the German index DAX. So good push higher, but yep, we're feeling. I think that the knees have shaken a little bit, so the bulls, and yep, I think that somehow it seems that they're kind of losing the battle a little bit here. The cash index is currently sitting at around 13,416 territory. So basically, we are back in this highlighted territory. Now, not saying that this is I'm becoming very bearish here or something like that. No, but there is an element that if we, let's say, drop and stay below this 13,378 territory, well, we could consider maybe a bit of a move to the downside towards the 21-day EMA. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be a bearish indication. No, it could be just part of the correction before another possible leg of buying. But as you can see with my arrow here, my arrow for my downside scenario is somewhere from around the 13,000 mark. So yeah, I'm kind of keeping an eye on that one. And yeah, if we somehow manage to push back above that 13,444 territory, yes, more buyers could join in. We could see this one, picking up the pace here and moving eventually towards that 100-day EMA. But again, whenever we get back into something like this here in such a position, then I just try to kind of leave it. I'll give it some room to walk around, and then once I see some some clarity, then I do something about it. Because again, I do understand that sometimes it's it's very attractive, but like specifically in such cases, I actually I prefer to wait around here a little bit, because again, initially everything was a little bit more positive than negative, but yeah, the cash index right now is drifting back down. Yesterday's slight weakness in the U.S. markets did kind of shake it up a little bit. So let's see how the European session goes through today. But yeah, if if we fall back below this 13,378 territory, like I said, I'm not becoming very bearish, but might consider a move towards that 21-day EMA. NASDAQ 100. So yeah, yesterday we pushed higher. We closed above this barrier, above this highest point of June. But if we take a look at the cash index right now, we'll see that we are below it. So basically, first of all, I think a few adjustments have to be made here. So this arrow is no longer valid there. This arrow has to come here, because Basically, if we do make a move back above this barrier, back above this hurdle, this 12,897, or in other words, we jump back above the 12,900 level. If we push back through it, then and stay above it, then yes, I'll consider a move maybe back to the upside here towards the 208 EMA. So again, be very careful here for now. Everything's looking quite interesting, but yeah, I would say it's a bit of a difficult one here right now. Again, also like with the German index, so I rather watch this one than just kind of blindly, do something about it. Of course, the fact that we are still trading above that 100-day EMA, that gives a bit of the EMA is right there below it a little bit. That of course gives a bit of positivity, but if we start falling below it, guys, this level has to jump away from here. So if we start dropping below it and we fall somewhere also below this 12,741, 42 territory, well, maybe a bit of a retracement here back to this 21-day EMA could be possible. DXY, continues to slide, everything's fine, but, maybe a bit of a rebound here could be possible. And one thing that I've noticed here is, let's put it this way. If we do take a look at the RSIs and the MACDs on our charts, then yes, on the RSI we are below 50, so it's showing negative price momentum, and it's showing that yes, we could see further slide. But with the MACD here, for example, we can see that last time when we came very close to zero, we kind of, we shifted a little bit below it, hanged around slightly below it, and then reversed and pushed back up. So once again, we're coming closer to zero. It might, drift lower somewhere here. And although in my ideal world, I am aiming for this upside line, we might not even see a touch of this. We might see something like here, for example. So don't be surprised, for example, if if I'm currently aiming for this upside line, but we don't really reach that, because again, this is the market we're talking about. To be honest, it doesn't always do what we want it to do, so we have to accept that. So if you, for example, are aiming for somewhere, let's say around here, and you're initially aiming for this upside line, but you actually end up being somewhere around here, it's still a good result. It's still a decent result. So, for now, my kind of strategy here was that if we break this upside line and we fall below the 21-day EMA and this 106.40 zone, I will be aiming lower. And so far, yes, I'm continuing to aim lower. Now the question is, can we reach this upside line? But again, I'm still leaning towards the downside, but I'll be very careful, just slightly above this upside line. Gold. Okay, so gold did get a nice move higher yesterday. We broke the downside line taken from the high of the 8th of March. So now what's next? Basically, we are seeing a bit of a retracement. Again, of course, the weaker dollar is somehow, this time it's playing out nicely for gold, and we could see a further move higher, to be honest. My next target is this 1787 level. I would say, if we do kind of, let's say, push a little bit higher here, test this 1787 level, but if we struggle to overcome it, we might see a drift back down. Maybe a test of this upside line taken from the low of the 21st of July. So again, let's see how this is going to play out. For now, if you're looking for some more upside, I would say yes, you could aim for that, but for me at this point, probably let me just grab one of these lines. Probably let me grab this one for now. So from the very short-term perspective, I would say if we push through yesterday's high near the 1775 territory, then I'll consider it maybe a move towards the upside, towards that 1787 level. If we struggle with this hurdle, maybe a bit of a retracement could be possible. So keep that in mind. US oil, so WTI oil, and there we go. This is what I was talking about, guys, previously. So yeah, we're struggling right now. It seems that overall, and yesterday in my morning video yesterday, I said that look, overall, I am a little bit bearish on this one, because well, it seems that we could be forming a possible maybe something like a descending triangle pattern here. Again, not an ideal one. And also, look, I mean, consumption is falling slowly, and of course, with this higher inflation, people are rethinking their spending, they're rethinking their, driving around, and yeah, so there's a lot of things that are happening. And if you think that yes, inflation is high, yes, it is high, but it's I would say the oil prices now are getting readjusted, and we're seeing a decline. So in consumption, so yeah, and this is what you are seeing here on this chart as well. So at the moment, I would say I'm still leaning towards the downside, and especially if we drop and stay below this 93.56 territory, somewhere around here, then yeah, I'll continue aiming lower. My next target will be this 86.78 territory, and then we'll just take it from there. Although this 86.78 level is just a very tentative level. For me, I would prefer actually to see a move towards this area, this 81.94, and you know what? Probably I'm going to stick to that instead of that level, because this whole area here, I mean, you can try to find a good potential area of support, maybe something here, maybe something here. Any of these could be good, but I would say for now, if you want to go slowly on this one, which is a good option as always go slowly, guys, on these in general. But the next target could be this 89 territory, somewhere around here, and then we'll go from here. Maybe we could go lower, maybe we could go further south here. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, I would say. So a tricky one for the bulls, maybe, to be more precise, unless we start pumping higher, first of all, above this 99.95 level, and then we clear this 104.44, 105.21 level here. But again, if we do get something like that, then yes, I'll go for the upside. At the moment, I'm leaning towards the downside, but some confirmation breaks are still needed. Ethereum, just a quick update, to be honest, on the cryptos are declining a little bit right now. We can reuse this downside line and draw an upside one here. So basically, something like this is possible. And the question here is, can we see a rebound from this area? Well, I would say yes, we could. There is a good chance of seeing that. However, at this point, I would prefer to wait for a move above the 1700 level. I think I already mentioned this, and that's my target for the upside. I mean, if we clear that 1700 level, then we might also clear the 100-day EMA, and we could go further north. At the moment, we are coming closer to this excuse me, this upside line and the 21-day EMA. Can both of these provide support? Well, let's wait and see. If they cannot, then that's where I will start aiming for the downside. Now, jumping into a few pairs very quickly, AUDCHF, guys, looking at this. So just a quick update. I've talked about this pair yesterday. Look, excuse me. So we have moved nicely to the downside. We broke this upside line. Now, previously, I'll mention the same thing that I mentioned yesterday, but so previously I was looking at this as a possible ascending triangle pattern, but we failed to stay above this highlighted territory here near the 0.6710. Instead, we broke the upside line, we fell below the 21-day EMA, and we're now drifting nicely to the downside. So, what's next? The next thing is the possible test of this 0.6594 territory, and if we kind of, I mean, we're not very far from it. So, to be honest, I was aiming for this level already before. So at the moment, almost the mission is accomplished. Almost, I would say, but we still, still kind of aiming for that few extra tips here. pips. So the question here is then if we can reach that, can we break that? Well, if we do, then I'll go further south. Pretty straightforward here. Of course, I'll have my stop loss in place just in case this reverses back, above this. But at the moment, let's just aim for this hurdle, and then we'll deal with that next part further. I mean, because what's important here to see is that, let's say if we drop lower, for example, we test this hurdle, we then, let's say, pierce through it, but then by the end of the day, we still come back above it, then we'll have ourselves a nice, beautiful false breakout, and what we'll have ourselves here as well is a little range. So actually, I think that it's time we can get rid of this upside line and just focus on this as a range right now. AUD JPY, beautiful slide. Look at this. So let me actually get rid of all the drawings here. I haven't looked at this one for quite a while. So yeah, we broke some upside lines here, and if, let's say, for example, if you want to have this one on the chart here, you can. It's beautiful. It was a beautiful break. Then we broke some of the key support levels. For example, this one right here, the lowest point of July, and yesterday we drifted lower, but today we're drifting further south, and we're breaking below this 100-day EMA, and also below this 91.42 territory, which is the lowest point of July. The question here is, can we stay above it? Can we stay below it? Because if we somehow reverse back up and climb back above this this area, this 91.42 territory, well, basically maybe we could see a nice rebound here and a push back to the upside a little bit. In terms of drawing some other lines here, like a downside line, yes, you can, but again, for now I'm leaning towards the downside as long as the pair stays below this 91.42 territory. If it climbs back above it, there is a potential for this one maybe to retrace back to the upside, maybe towards that 21-day EMA. USD JPY, guys, also drifting nicely to the downside. We've managed to reach this target of mine between the 131.35 and 50 levels. We even managed to reach the 100-day EMA. So mission accomplished here. So what's next? What next is, I would say, I will remove all the drawings again and start fresh. So if before I put any lines, I can see that yes, first of all, this 100-day EMA is doing a good job. This is why I was saying with DXY, guys, be very careful, because let's say, for example, here in USD JPY, if we do drift a little bit lower here, but we continue to find good support near this 100-day EMA, this maybe could come in line perfectly with this whole idea here, which I've mentioned. So so that's why at the moment be very careful near this 100-day EMA. If we drop below this, yes, further declines could be possible, guys. Then our next target, of course, is this lowest point of May near the 126.36 level, and then yeah, maybe even this 200-day EMA. But of course, this is going to be interesting to see if we can actually climb back and stay above this 131.50 territory. If we can, maybe yes, a nice good retracement here back up could be possible, and we could consider a move towards this downside line. Now, what's next? What can we do next here? So I would say if we at the moment, the only thing we can do is probably watch, because if you missed this drop here, I would say leave it for now, because again, we might see a retracement here, and this is why I'm saying, like, keep your eyes on this 131.50. If we somehow manage to drift back above it and stay above it, then yeah, maybe a bit of a retracement here back up could be possible. USD CHF, so also very interesting level here as well. Look, we are previously I talked about this being as a range, so we violated the lower side of the range. We drifted lower, and well, that's what we're getting here right now. Something not very attractive, but hey, we'll take that. And one thing for sure is, of course, because we got rid of this this is, to be honest, no longer a range, and that's why I think it's time to get rid of the drawings here and just have a look at the EMAs. So we can see that we're currently resting near this 200-day EMA. We're currently getting a little rebound, so everything's fine. Previously, I had this upside line here. I will not draw it yet, because if we do drop below this 200-day EMA, then I'll bring it back to the table. If we don't, then for now what I'm sticking to here is something like this. So something like this here. So this downside line taken from the high of the 14th of July. If we continue to trade below this downside line, then yes, we could go lower. But if we start breaking it, then that's where the whole excitement could come, and we could go a little bit higher, and then maybe we could aim for this other tentative downside line here. So yeah, a lot of tentative lines. But hey, that's part of the game. So long story short, we're currently stuck in this area, and if you need a level here for the downside, this 0.9470 territory is the one to watch. If we drop below it, then yeah, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could go further south. GBP NZD, also something that I want to remove all the drawings and then start fresh, because look, I mean, this is what's happening here. Since around mid-May, we have been oscillating around these three EMAs, because look, I mean, there's no trend. Sorry, there is a trend. The sideways action is also a trend. So, but yeah, it has been in the sideways activity, stuck for quite a while. We could be, seeing something of a range here. So, yeah, a lot of things to consider at the moment from the very short-term perspective. Look, I mean, we're approaching quite an interesting level. This one right here, this barrier. So, in a way, this could be seen as a bullish flag here. We're now trying to pump higher, but again, this 1.9448 level, that's what I'm watching. I need to see a clear break through it in order for me to go higher. If we clear this, then we'll be above all of the EMAs, and maybe more buyers could join in and potentially, start aiming for some of these levels right here. If we do that, then yeah, we'll get a little bit more excited. Yeah, if we do push above this 1.9448 territory, I'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. With the downside, I need to see it drop below the 1.9288 zone, and then I'll consider a move towards the lower side of this range. GBP CAD, so this one is not waiting for anybody and just pushing higher straight away. So yesterday, look at this beautiful breakout. Yesterday I talked about this pair, and there we go. So we had our move, we had our good breakout, we stayed above it. So next question is, can we continue going higher? Well, at the moment, to be honest, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. As long as we stay above this downside line, I will continue aiming higher towards this 100-day EMA, and then we will just kind of take it from there. So far, like I said, yes, everything's working out, so I cannot really say anything unless we start falling back below this downside line and we fall. Now this is where I need to, I think, adjust my levels here a little bit. I think this is the more important one, the 1.5575 level. If we drop below it, that's where it could become quite interesting for a few more sellers, guys, so keep that in mind. Euro NZD, also something that I wanted to pick up. I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but also rebounding nicely here. Can we break this downside line? So that's a good question. If we can, then and we can then stay above it, then that's where we'll aim for these EMAs actually. I'm not gonna drag this one way too much to the upside, because in general there are some bearish indications. So yeah, let's see how this is gonna play out. But for now, it could go higher, yes, but a break above this downside line is still needed. And finally, EURUSD. So finally, we managed to stay above this 21-day EMA. We managed to break and stay above it. So okay, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside on this one. However, as what I've mentioned with the with the dollar, that's, like I said, that's going to be quite interesting to see, because if we do drift a little bit more to the downside, then yes, this could work out perfectly with my idea here with EURUSD pushing higher. This arrow has to be drawn up until this mark here for now. This 1.0340 area, that's what I'm going to be aiming for initially if we continue to trade above this 21-day EMA. If we cannot stay above it and we start falling back below it, well, maybe we need to start maybe thinking of the downside, guys. So, that's it for this session, really. I hope you found it useful. I really appreciate your time, guys. As always, your views, your likes, your comments. I mean, that really helps me a lot. And honestly, thank you for your time. Thank you very much for that. So, if you found this useful, great. Then I'm waiting for you to join in tomorrow, as always, to my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. Have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. And as always, everything will be fine, guys. Thank you very much, and bye.